All right, welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, this one, I'm really excited about this one. We're going to be talking about proactive versus reactive living. And this is a topic I know we've both been wanting to get into for a while.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's something that comes up all the time. And
Yeah.
it's really at the core of, how we live our lives and how much control we really have.
Yeah, and how much control we think we have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes I feel like I have no control, and other times I feel like I'm completely in control.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a spectrum.
Yeah.
You're not always going to be one or the other,
Right.
but it's about being aware of, where you are on that spectrum and making conscious choices.
So for today's deep dive, we actually have one short little excerpt that I think is really going to kind of bring this whole idea together for us.
Okay, I'm excited to hear it.
All right, so it is the law of proactive versus reactive living. And it says, you either create your life or respond to others' demands. Full stop. Stop living on autopilot. Design your day, goals, and habits, or the world will do it for you.
Wow. That's pretty powerful.
I know, right? Like it just hits you right between the eyes,
It really does.
doesn't it?
It's like a wake-up call.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, are you creating your life, or is your life just happening to you?
Yeah, are you just kind of like bouncing around reacting to whatever comes up, or are you actually like consciously choosing the path that you're on?
Exactly. And I think that's what this law is really getting at.
And I think, one of the things that I really like about this excerpt is that it doesn't say, you should never react to anything.
Right.
It's not saying you should be like this emotionless robot that just like, goes through life with this plan and never deviates from it.
Right. Life is going to happen.
Right. Life's going to happen. You're going to have to react to things.
Exactly. You can't control everything,
Right.
but it's about, recognizing when you are being reactive,
Right.
and choosing to be proactive when you can.
Right. And I think that's the key difference.
Yeah.
Like it's not about never reacting. It's about being aware of when you're reacting and then choosing a different path if you want to.
Exactly. And the excerpt talks about designing your day, your goals and your habits.
Yeah.
And that's really where the proactive part comes in.
Right.
You're not just letting things happen to you.
You're taking control.
You're taking control.
You're designing, the life that you want.
Right. And that sounds great in theory, right? Like, who doesn't want to design their ideal life?
Right. It sounds amazing, but
But how do you actually do it?
yeah, where do you even start?
Right. It can be really overwhelming
Mm.
if you think about like designing your whole life.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah, so how do we break that down into something that's actually manageable?
Right. So I think a good place to start is with goal setting.
Okay.
So, instead of just kind of letting life happen to you,
Right.
decide what you want.
Okay.
Like, what are your goals?
Like, what do I actually want to achieve?
Exactly. And not just like, what do you want to achieve today, but
Right.
like, what do you want to achieve in the next year, 5 years, 10 years?
So thinking bigger picture long term.
Exactly. Because if you don't have those long-term goals,
Yeah,
it's easy to just get caught up in the day-to-day.
right. Just like go through the motions.
Right. And then, you wake up one day and you're like, wait a minute.
How do I get here?
How did I get here? This is not what I wanted.
Yeah, this is not what I envisioned.
Right. So having those goals gives you something to aim for.
Right, so it's like having a destination in mind.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got our goals now. How do we actually start moving towards them?
Right. So that's where habit design comes in.
Okay,
So, our habits are basically the building blocks of our lives.
they're like the little things we do every day that add up over time.
Exactly. And if you can design your habits in a way that supports your goals,
Right.
then you're much more likely to actually achieve those goals.
So it's not about like trying to rely on willpower all the time.
Right. Willpower is a limited resource.
Yeah, it gets depleted.
It gets depleted. So if you can just make it automatic
Right.
by building those habits,
Then you don't even have to think about it.
right, it just becomes part of your routine.
So do you have any tips for actually like designing effective habits? Because I know that's something I struggle with.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to start small.
Okay.
Like, don't try to change everything at once.
Right. Because that's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's overwhelming and you're more likely to give up.
Right.
So pick one habit that you want to change
Right.
and focus on that.
Just one.
Just one and make it small.
Okay.
Like, if you want to start exercising more,
Yeah.
don't try to go from 0 to running a marathon.
Right. Start small.
Start small, maybe just like go for a 10-minute walk every day.
Okay.
And then once that becomes a habit,
Then you can build on it.
then you can build on it.
So it's like those small wins that keep you motivated.
Exactly.
So we've got goal setting, we've got habit design. Is there anything else that we need to keep in mind when we're trying to be more proactive?
Yeah, the third piece of the puzzle is mindful awareness.
Okay, what's that?
So mindful awareness is basically just paying attention to what's going on.
Like paying attention to my thoughts and feelings.
Exactly, your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors,
Okay.
and noticing when you're starting to slip into reactive mode.
Okay, so like when I'm getting stressed out about traffic, or when I'm mindlessly scrolling on my phone.
Exactly. Those are great examples because when you're in reactive mode, you're not really thinking clearly.
Right, you're just reacting.
You're just reacting and you're not making conscious choices.
So mindful awareness is like hitting the pause button.
Exactly. It gives you that space.
That space to choose.
To choose how you want to respond.
Okay, so how do we cultivate that mindful awareness?
Well, there are a lot of different practices that can help.
Okay.
Like meditation,
Okay.
yoga,
Uh-huh.
spending time in nature.
Okay.
Anything that helps me to slow down and pay attention to the present moment.
So it's like training your mind to be more present.
Exactly. And the more you practice, the better you'll get at it.
So it's a skill that you could develop.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got goal-setting, habit design, mindful awareness. Are there any other like tips or tricks that you can share for someone who's trying to be more proactive in their life?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is to be patient with yourself.
Okay.
It's not going to happen overnight. It's a process.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, and there will be times when you slip up.
When you fall back into old habits.
Exactly. But that's okay.
It's part of the process.
It's part of the process. Just pick yourself up and start again.
So don't beat yourself up about it.
Exactly. Just keep practicing, and eventually it will become more natural.
So it's all about progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
I think this has been a really helpful deep dive.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like I have a much better understanding of what it means to be proactive versus reactive.
Yeah, and I hope our listeners do too.
And I think the most important takeaway is that we all have the power to create the life that we want.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of making conscious choices and taking action.
And remember, even small steps can make a big difference.
So, listener, what's one area of your life where you'd like to be more proactive?
Yeah, think about it.
And what's one small step you can take today to move in that direction?
That's something to think about.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you later. Bye.
10D67.